I remember thinking, I thought I was a nice person when people like me, but now at that point you're like, oh my gosh, you're trending and people are actually abusing you on social media, on Twitter, and you have to take it. You have to be like, okay, fine. You have to be like, okay, I have to get over, or rather even that situation is created for you to get over the need of being liked by people.
I hear it.
Or the need of reputation. Same year, where I meet this person on Twitter. So they seem like they're doing stuff for startups, and I'm interested. So their story was they had invested in a couple of startups in Kenya. And I was like, oh, I'm interested. I'd like to represent this brand. Because remember, I'm also, at that point, I'm working with... Why are you laughing?
Because I know this story. It just hit me.
It just hit you? It hadn't hit you?
No, it hadn't hit me.
So at this point, I'm working with... I'm excited about the tech PR, and we're talking about it. Viber, we are working with Viber, the real estate company, and also now the health brand that we have. And then I'm still doing off and on with artists, in particular the musicians. And then I need to remember, I did something for a politician in no, it was later.
Okay.
So 2014, towards the end, I come across this individual who is posing as the youngest billionaire in Kenya. And we have a conversation, and I'm like, okay, fine, I can actually represent you. Hashan without the silver.
Super. God.
So,
Mary, you've lived. You've lived.
I'm not 36.
You're not 36. You've lived 3 lives. So, okay.
So I meet Hashan December towards at the end of 2014. And then I'm like, yeah, I can represent you. So me, I ask him, what's your story? He tells me my story. I believe, I mean, where I'm coming from, I don't believe, how do I put it? I approached life with so much innocence. And
yes.
So I could not imagine someone can lie to me. You know, like, you understand what I'm saying? Or can pretend to that level. No, I've emptied the story. Anyway,
No, not.
So I meet him, and I'm like, okay, I can represent you. And we start working. So the thing was, so I tell him, you know what? I have an idea. Let's start doing hashtags. So hashtags are, each and every month, I'll be putting together like 100 entrepreneurs, and then you'll be speaking to them. Then I told him, you don't even have to pay me a retainer for your PR. Then he's like, yeah, that's fine. But, you know, then he's told me for the events, I can be getting 60%, and then he gets 40%. I'm like, wow, what a
kind guy.
What a kind billionaire. So I start putting, first of all, before that, I need to remember, first I call everyone. I'm the one who called Jeff Koinange to take him to Jeff Koinange live.
You are so good at your job.
Yes.
No, this guy was everywhere.
I put him everywhere. I put him everywhere. When I met him, and then I believed his story, I called everyone. JK Live, he was on JK Live. He was on a show on Monday evening that was being done by Julie Gishoro. He was everywhere. Literally, he was everywhere.
Wow.
Yeah, I called everyone. I believed his story.
Okay, like I need to separate 2 things.
Yeah.
There's his lie of a life.
Yeah.
But there's your job.
Yeah.
To put him, your job as a PR agency.
Yeah.
Was incredible.
Yes.
I mean, this guy was everywhere.
Yes, he
on
was.
On social media, noisy like an nonsense. Noisy.
Yeah.
Trending a lot.
Yeah.
For good things.
Yeah.
And at every event, I remember going for an event and he was invited.
Yeah.
And we're just like, yo, this guy is here. We're going to get chums.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chums, nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I didn't know you were the engine behind this. Okay, go on.
I was, but I had met him. So I met him, I'm not the one who put him on Young and Rich. So he had just done Young and Rich.
Okay.
And he had just been listed on Forbes as one of the top 30 most promising young people.
Okay.
So I believed, I mean, the fact that he
Yes.
was on Forbes, I believed the story.
Wow.
Anyway.
So now you
So,
start
but
the
then
events.
from there, I picked the story from there and and amplified the story. He was everywhere. I remember pitching to Jeff. Jeff's like, yeah, bring the young man. Took him everywhere. So we started the events, and we were doing them monthly.
Were people paying to come for those events?
Yes.
Okay.
And then now we'd pay the venue, we'd pay everything, and then would do the 60-40.
But now you are the one who's doing the
Revenue.
event.
Yes.
Organization.
Yes.
So now you've entered eventing.
Yeah, it's part of,
PR.
concept for, remember it's a concept I've come up with.
Yes.
Let's do hashtags, let's position you on social media. So event, it's not, you can do PR without events, but you
Yes.
cannot do, like, it's part of
I get it.
fulfilling the bigger goal.
Yes, but then what I mean, all this time in your story, I've
Yeah.
not had you organizing events.
But I was organizing at K-Crew. I was part of.
Oh yes, yes, yeah, you are.
Yeah.
But what I mean is your own.
By the,
your own
with Glass House.
Yes,
Yeah,
with
yeah,
Glass House.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So.
So the only money you're making, because you've told him you're not going to be making chums from him, he doesn't need to put you on a retainer.
Yeah.
Is from this eventing.
Yeah, and it wasn't even much.
After expenses are paid.
Yeah.
Wow. And now when he's talking.
So when he's talking, he was interesting, and he'd pick, like, if you meet him, he would say, I met Richard from cleaning the airwaves. This is what they're trying to clean the airwaves, and I've invested in them. So, like, and he'd understand your business in and out. He had some intelligence going on. So that people would be very impressed. The young people would come and listen to him. Yeah. And the events would be full.
So how long? Okay, what happens?
So we do events. We're doing events, and then I even take him. So at church, at that particular point, they had made me the head of the Waterbrook Business Network.
Okay.
So I'm like, who is my next guest? I take this guy. He comes to church, and I remember someone told me, "No, why are you bringing this guy? And he's fake." Someone told me, I won't mention them. They'll feel anyway. So, but then I asked them, you are feeling, why are you being jealous? Is this because they were on the same list for Forbes?
Yes.
And then he was. People are not talking about him much.
Yes,
So I'm like, is it people are talking about this guy more than you? So there's I'm like, stop saying he's fake. Why you give me the evidence?
Yes.
Yeah, that is fake. Then we'll discuss from there. So someone had mentioned that to me in church. And when he came, met the pastor, he even told us how he had this tattoo. It was written. He had a scripture on his hand, and what it meant for him. He wowed everyone. Did
he have the script? The
yeah,
tattoo?
he did.
Okay.
He had a scripture as a tattoo on his on his hand. He wowed everyone. Wow.
Hey, this is a.
So
at this time, are you noticing?
Not yet. Then he comes and he tells me he has. It's like the way, I don't know whether you've been conned, and then it hits you like it's just one day everything comes together. But all this time we've just been taking information. Yeah. So one day he tells me he has 400 employees, but he always comes to my office. I've never gone to his office. I don't know
where he lives.
I don't know these employees. That day he came to church. He actually told us that on Oloitoktok, they want to name a certain road after him because he's bought, I don't know, 3 houses there. Like, what? Interesting.
So, but you're still believing. How old is this guy by the time? 30 something, yeah?
No, he was in his 20s.
He was in his 20s?
Yeah.
Guy. Wow. Uh-huh.
So, later on now, I tell him, I have an idea, yeah? I want us to do like a shank tank on radio. So I'm going to go to NMG. I'm going to go to I think I went and met the group director or something.
Yeah.
The editor or someone, senior. Then I'm going to propose this show. And then you will be the one you'll be there like so I told them I have a billionaire. And I want us to do like a shank tank on radio every Monday morning. So we went for a meeting.
Even him?
Yes. No, one. So they agreed. They said, bring him for the meeting. He came for the meeting. We agreed. There's a guy there who started working on the script. They even started saying, we'll have KCB actually come in and sponsor that session. Like, it became a whole thing. So in the process, they told me, but now you need to go back and ask him to give you all the papers that we need. So I remember us meeting now later. I'm like, okay, so now I need all this information. I need your incorporation documents. I need to know the companies you've said you've invested in. So in one of the shows, he had said he's invested in 1,700 companies. So this day he says 25. I'm like, sorry, what happened to the 2 zeros? Like, I'm not.
Wow.
I'm like, sorry. Then he told me, those 1,700 I talked about were just mama mbogas. I just invest in them. I'm like, okay.
It's all comes crashing down.
That is interesting. Okay, fine. I need your tax.
Humpty Dumpty.
I need your tax document. I need the incorporation documents. Then it's like, we, because of the good work we do in the society, we don't pay tax. And if we come out and say we don't pay tax, the revenue authority will be in trouble. How in my head I believe that a revenue authority can be in trouble is, I don't know.
That the revenue authority will be in trouble.
How, and I believed. Me, I was there like, okay. Okay, so what do we take to Nation Media Group? They need papers. Then the guy is cussing. I'm like, why are you cussing? Sorry? He's like, okay, sorry. Mary is holy. I can't cuss in front of Mary. Okay, sorry. I'm like, what is going on? Then we had now an event a few days from that day.
Yeah.
So we go to the event. And that day I decided to pay attention. I discover the guy is changing his story.
On the fly? Like on stage?
Yes. It keeps changing. It's not consistent. I'm like, wait. Something is off here.
Mm-hmm.
Noted. I tell him, so I do, after the event, I do an email. I tell him, because I'm the one who's representing you. And in this country, at this moment, your brand and Glasshouse are like married. We are like together like this. I want you to tell me the truth. This is an email I write. And just note from today, I'm no longer representing you until you tell me the truth. Then he replies, he writes a long email about, I'm going through a lot. He used to do that. My girlfriend is leaving me. I don't know. I'm like, I don't, like in my head, what? I don't get back. Then, funny enough, we are invited to speak at Mount Kenya University. In that poster, it was him, myself, another guy called Trusha, Ketia, and Eugene Bogwa, Young and Rich.
Yes.
So I've asked him and I've told him that. Then the event comes. So as we get to the event early, then the billionaire, since we are not billionaires, the billionaire comes later, like when the event is about to start. He comes, he says hi to Trusha. Eugene is sitting next to me, says hi to Eugene, ignores me, and then sits down. But for some reason, I still say hi to him. So I don't know what is going on. Like, I don't have any intentions.
This is a predator square. Predator vibes.
Yeah, but I'm not thinking about it. Then I share my story. I'm like, I grew up in the village, but but that did not stop me from becoming who I was meant to be. And I grew up with a single parent, but that I did not blame her for my life. I still created a life of my own.
Yeah.
Then the guy, when he starts speaking, he starts saying that his mother grew up in the village. We're like, okay, how is this story? Then each time he's talking, these two people are laughing. I'm like, why are they laughing? Anyway, so he finishes, and then he's busy.
Yeah.
Immediately he walks. He says, Hi guys, I have to go. This is my number. He announces his number in a hall full of students. You don't call me, just WhatsApp me. I'll get back to you. And then he leaves with his PA. As we are left there, we're like, okay, we're not busy.
Okay.
So I turn to these people. I'm like, why are you guys laughing? And then now Eugene is like, you know, when I did Young and Rich, I didn't know the story was a fake story, but I came to know it's a fake story. Then even now, all of them knew, but it's only me who didn't know what was going on.
Wow.
That's why they're all laughing and they're finding it funny. But me, I'm there like, I'm still
yes.
not believing. At this point, I'm like, can you please tell me the truth? I actually want to hear. I wanted him to tell me the truth. Anyway, so a week later, I tell him I need to meet with you. Then he says, yeah, I'll come on Monday. So he comes to the office, he comes to the boardroom.
Yeah.
And then he's in a hurry, he's even standing. So I ask him, okay, tell me, how many companies have you invested in? He said 17. And I'm like, okay, give me the names. He tells me a name of someone I know. I'm like, oh, that's Nani's company. He's like, oh, and then he says, no, we haven't yet converted. I'm like, I don't know what triggered in me. After that, I went home, wrote a press release, and I was writing to the people I pitched him to. So the press release was it's online, it's here.
Me.
And one first Monday decided to put that press release on Twitter. The press release had my number. This press release was to certain people who I had pitched him to, like Kina Jeff Konange, etc. So I think I slept in, so my phone was on silence. I don't know what happened that night. I know I woke up with 60 missed calls. And I was trending, Glasshouse was trending. But I'm like, and people are like, it's so unprofessional for you to disconnect yourself with a client in the public space. But in my mind, I'm like, if I did it quietly, no one, and I was sending it to the people I had communicated to or pitched him to. But also, if I've done it quietly, who would have believed me? Even, you know, so there was a lot of backlash, how this company is unprofessional, etc. There's a lot. And at that point, I had to deal with the issues of, being liked or not liked. Because I remember thinking, I thought I was a nice person when people like me. But now at that point, you're like, oh my gosh, you're trending and people are actually abusing you on social media, on Twitter. And you have to take it. You have to be like, okay, fine. You have to be like, okay, I have to get over, or rather even that situation is created for you to get over the need of being liked by people.
I hear it.
Or the need of reputation.
Wow.
Yes. So that's how God decided to deal with it. I'm trending, but at least some people are calling me, they're on my side. Others, I can see them telling him the way they're praying for him.
Oh my God.
And then Larry calls me, he's like, is it Larry or Dan? Dan calls me and he's like, can you come to NTV today and read this press release on air? I said, I'm not coming.
Wow.
That day, the press release was read on air on NTV. Who are they? Glasshouse PR is becoming famous. We've never been on, what do you call it? Prime time. We're on prime time. We're on prime time, so we're on prime time, and guys were, and they were like, today Glasshouse PR disconnected themselves from, this young billionaire. They said his brand is not authentic, etc. That's all I said.
Yes.
You'll see the press release. Then, immediately after news, he sent his own press release. He said he did not, the reason that PR firm is behaving like that, it's because he fired them.
My God. This, ni kama movie, ni kama video. Drama.
Yeah. It's like he fired them. I'm like, what?
This guy still has hope to continue the lie.
Yeah. But at least I remember Dan calling me, he's like, don't worry, that's the norm for someone to do, like, I fired them, that's why they are behaving like that.
Yeah.
But then after a few days, and someone did a story for him on Daily Nation, they were still believing his story or whatever he was saying. Because even in that story, he said that he fired he fired Glasshouse PR. That's why they acted like that and did that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, can I ask, what was this guy's deal? How do you lie about being a billionaire? I don't understand. What was the end goal? What was the con game? Have you ever wondered?
It's to fake it till you make it, I guess.
And was he a Kenyan? Or is a guy who had come from a different country?
I think his parents were Indian Kenyan. I've never understood, I don't know.
Yeah.
But he was believed also more because of the color.
Yes. It's true.
Sorry to say, yeah.
No, it's a fact of the matter.
Yeah.
Because if Gashaja just came out and started saying this, whatever, man.
Yeah.
Let's do the research on you.
Yeah.
So it went all to the point. What did this? Okay, I've heard what it did for you in terms of it broke that need for human being validation.
Yes.
And being liked. Which is huge in terms of the leadership growth.
Leadership growth, you need to get over being liked, you need to get over reputation, and I'm in the reputation business. But then you need to get to the place of being of no reputation. If you're required to be something or to do a particular thing and go against the grain, you need to go ahead and do it, despite what people will say about you.
That is not easy because we're human beings, emotional beings. The need for connection and the need to be liked is...
So rising above being a human, which is possible.
Talk that talk. So, does this crisis, first and foremost, the reason why I like bringing a certain age group to CTA, there's a couple of young people who people have asked me to interview at CTA, and I'm like, there's a power of time in life. Time in life throws you all sorts of lemons. You get what I mean? And this is not to make lemonade juice. It is to start crying, to help you with your tears. It's because of the ups and downs of life. If you watched Phil City, I talked about the pit, the prison, Potiphar's house, palace. Not in that order, but yes. This is now you as a company. You get what I mean?
Yes.
What does that lull do for you?
It's the making of a leader.
Oh, okay. Hey. Cucumbers.
It was required, especially the madness I saw on Twitter, which came again in 2018 because Twitter started doing what we call, memories. Can you imagine? So it's a making of a leader. And you have to get these things to be able to stand as a leader.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, there was one time I've trended as a gospel musician. I trended in Gafla, days of Gafla.
Yeah.
So I understand that, but you loved me. You loved me yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, how are you not loving me today?
Yeah.
It's something that's very difficult for people. And I see a lot of influencers going through that thing now.
Yeah.
When you say the making of a leader, just expound a little bit more. And do you have to go through a crisis to still learn those lessons?
You know, you were talking about the human nature, and we are going through, for me, my journey has been going through the journey of overcoming that. So I have to be instilled with certain aspects to make me become the leader that I have not seen yet.
Yeah.
So I've seen all types of leadership, but that's not it yet. So this is where I'm going. So for my journey, I have to go through different processes that are building me up to become the leader that has not been seen. So in overcoming that nature, that is the human nature, certain things have to come my way to sharpen me. It's like the making of the diamond. It has to go through pressure. Yeah.
You know what you've said is so profound. If you want to get to a certain perspective of leadership, in your own version, you need to do your 27 years in prison or whatever it is that will be used to sharpen you to get to here. It's very funny. And I always tell people, go and watch The Purpose of the Prison on CTA. It's a conversation I did with Julian Kula. And he says the prison for Joseph was the final sharpening point of his life so that God can now write the story of his life using him. So for you, this crisis, PR crisis, association with a person of bad character, and how you would handle it, and all that would come your way was part of the things using to sharpen you.
Yeah. And making sure that I didn't go spinning or telling a lie, but also presenting that story in integrity. Because now from there I learned that, because they would teach us, or they'd say that, you know, in PR you have to spin a story. I was like, I'm not going to spin. It's better we tell the story outright. This is what happened, etc. And then within 3 years it will be over, instead of spinning and then 10 years later the story comes back again. So that's why glass house, integrity. You see through, you see, what you see is what you get, and much, much more.
Wow.
Yeah.
So are there any positive things that come out of that?
Yes. I mean, everyone is like, yo, you put him everywhere.
It's like what I'm saying now. I'm like, you guys put him everywhere.
Yes.
Like that shows the behind the scenes hard work.
Yeah, yeah. So people, there's a guy who even calls like, you did that for Heshan, you have to do it for me. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Here is a contract. So other people didn't want to sign, but there's a lot of hype of clients coming in who wanted us. The real estate guy came back, he's like, yeah, I need to be all over like what you did with that guy, with Heshan. Everyone would come referring us to Heshan. But now on the flip side, when it comes now to the media for a long time, and I don't know whether it's it's reporters, they always, each time would send a press release, they'll be like, see, you are the guys who represented that guy. How do I know this story is real? Imagine just... Yeah. I'm like, really? Yeah, so we got that a lot.
Did that make you do due diligence on your clients?
Yes, even that press release says from going forward, we'll be doing due diligence to our clients, and we apologize to the public. I was just honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did it knock you down?
I mean, yeah, I had to go through that process of, I thought people liked me.
How long is that process?
It's
months?
No, just a week. I mean, they're clients who need to be served. I don't have time.
You up and move on.
Yeah, you up and move on.
You know, it's a rare thing that very few people go through.
Yeah.
What it is that you went through. When the country stops to have a conversation about you from a negative perspective.
Yeah.
I have empathy for politicians as much as I don't know them or understand them or even like them.
Yeah.
I have empathy for them when a whole people are spewing life and death in the power of the tongue. So those are not dead words that fall on people. You need something more than your human self to be able to block those words.
Yeah. You need God, and that's what I'm talking about, going beyond the human nature to become that leader that is not just any leader that you've seen on earth.
Hey, we're taking a slight break, but I want to say something. Thank you. You know, I've gotten over 600 requests for people to sit here.
Yeah.
And the caution, and I'm saying this on camera so people may understand. I'm so cautious before putting somebody here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of behind the scenes work that we do before we allow you to sit on this seat.
Yeah.
There are CTAs that we have shot and never put out.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Because as I don't want to have a Dishan Silva situation, especially in a seat like here where young people are taking life notes from you and aspiring to be like you.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're coming back in a bit.